Hi everyone, welcome to this new lecture of Engineering Economics. In this lecture, we'll discuss about the concept of cross elasticity of demand. So we are discussing about the types of elasticity of demand, and this is one of the type in the elasticity of demand that is known as cross elasticity of demand. So this explains about that it measures how much quantity demanded of one product changes when the price of another related product changes. So it talks about that the quantity demanded of one product changed when the price of another product, another related product changed. And by keeping the other factors remaining constant, and that is known as cross elasticity of demand. And we'll take some example for this, like you can consider the price of tea increases and people may buy for coffee. That means when the price of tea, one items or one product changed, the quantity also will be like, demand will be decreased for this, and the demand of we can say the related product increased by the meantime, so that the people may buy more coffee in that. So how to calculate this? The formula for this cross elasticity demand is we can denote this one by XED, the percentage change in quantity demanded for a good A or for a product A divided by the percentage change in price of good B or product B. So there are three types of cross elasticity of demand. So first one is like a positive XED or positive cross elasticity of demand. That is also known as substitute goods. The second one is negative XED or also known as complementary goods. And the third one is zero XED, or we can say that is unrelated goods. We'll discuss one by one. The first one is the positive cross elasticity or positive XED. So when the value of XED is positive, we can say two goods are generally substitute. That means we need to calculate the value of XED, and the value of XED should be positive. Then we can say it is coming under positive cross elasticity. So in this case, we need to consider the XED is greater than 0. So how to calculate this value XED? By this formula. So what the formula I told you, that the percentage change in quantity demanded of a good A. The same thing definition I told. That one product changed, the quantity demanded of one product changed. That means the percentage change in quantity demanded for a product A with respect to or divided by the price changed another product. That means the percentage change in price of another product or product B. So when the price of one good increased, the demand for the substitute also increased. That means another product is increased, because here price increased, so the people cannot, or people won't buy this product, so they can go for the substitute products. So there the demand will be increased. Like what are the examples? Already given one example, tea and coffee. Those similar examples we can consider here, like tea, coffee, and Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and the bus, train, butter, margarine, and a different kind of brand of smartphones. So these are the examples we can consider for this positive cross elasticity. So let's try to understand by taking one example in this. If the price of coffee increased by 20% and the demand for tea increased by 10%. Suppose the price of coffee increased. Now here the diagram is given. Initially the price of coffee was at this P price. Okay, so initially the price is like go to P point. Now the price of coffee increased from P to P1. From P to P1 the price is increased. So the demand for tea increased by 10%. So when the price of coffee is at this point, at that time the demand of tea is at Q point. So from O to Q point. But when the price increased of coffee from here to here, like P point to P1 point, this is 20% suppose increased. Simultaneously what happened? The quantity of tea increased from Q to Q1 of 10% here. Okay, so how we can calculate the XED value? The same, by using this formula, XED equal to, we can write the change in quantity demanded, the percentage change in quantity demanded. So how much percentage change? That is 10%. So 10% divided by 20%, the percentage change in price of good B. That good B, suppose this is good B, how much changes? The 20%. If you calculate this one, then we'll find out the value. We'll get the value of 0.5, and the value of XCD is 0.5, which is greater than 0. So that's why we can say the XCD is positive here, and the tea and coffee are substitute goods. For the substitute goods, this is the condition that we need to remember. The second one is negative cross elasticity of demand, or also known as complementary demands or complementary goods. So when the value of XCD or cross elasticity of demand is negative, here we'll get the value of XCD equal to negative, then two goods are generally can say complementary or complements. In this condition, what will happen? The XCD should be less than 0. So when the price of one good increased, the demand for its complementary good decreased. That means both are complementary to each other, complements to each other. So one good increase means the demand for the complementary good will be decreased. So some examples I've taken here. Example is car and petrol. So printer, ink, and computer software. So these are the some related, like you can say the complementary goods. So this petrol is required for the car, or diesel is required for the car, and ink is required for the printer, software is required for the computer. So when the petrol price expensive increased, the people may use they may less using to purchase or use cars. So at that time, what will happen? When the price of the petrol increased, the people may move toward the electric vehicles. So that time they'll purchase less quantity of car, or they'll go for less buying for car. So for this also same thing. If the price of petrol increased by 20%, you can see if the price of petrol is increased by 20%, the demand for cars decreased by 10%. So the XCD value will be the demand decrease. So demand is decreased here. Now you can see the price of the petrol. Here I have taken the y-axis. This is initially the price of petrol was P, and it is increased to P1. So price increased here. When the price was P, at that time the demand was here. If you see, the demand for the petrol is Q. So I can draw like this. This is the demand, and when the price of petrol is this. Now when the price of petrol is increased to P1, P from P to P1, so it came here. At that time, the what it is given, the demand for car, or we can say that quantity of petrol. Okay, no, this will be like this will be our price of petrol given here. It will be quantity of like car. This is not petrol. This will be car. At that time, the demand for car decreased from Q to Q1. So it is decreased in this order. Okay, this is in this order. This is in this order. So at that point also we can plot it, a diagram. So we'll get this point. Now this point, these 2 points, we can just join it. This 2 point we can join it, and we'll get this kind of demand curve. And that value actually, if you see, will get negative. How you got negative? But the XCD value we got here 10% decrease. Decrease means initially, like after decrement, how much value and this much value. So there is a decrement of 10%. That's why we taken negative. So what is the increment is there in this? In this there is an increment of 20% in the price of petrol. So we can write here minus 10% divided by 20. That will be get minus 0.5. So the value of XCD is negative here. So that we can write the cars and petrol both are complementary goods. The next one is the zero cross elasticity. In the zero cross elasticity, this is also known as like unrelated goods. So we can say that when the value of XCD is approximately 0, that means when the value of XCD is 0, that time we can say this is unrelated goods. At that time we can say the change of price of one product there is no effect to the demand of other products. That means there is no relation between one product and another product. So we can take the example of here, like suppose shoe and toothpaste. So there is no relation between these two products. Similarly, pen and you can say the refrigerator. So there is no relation between the pen and refrigerator. Similarly, salt and television. That means there is no connection, there is no relation between one product and other product. If there is a demand increase, or if the price is increased for this, there will be no effect on the toothpaste. Similarly, if the price of pen is increased, there will be no relation with the refrigerator. That's all. So an increase in the price of shoes does not affect anything on demand of toothpaste. If the price increase for this one, there will be no effect on the toothpaste because both are not at all related. That's why it is called unrelated goods. So an increase of, like you can say, we can take an example for this. Let the price of television increase by 10%. The price of television increase by 10%. The demand for salt do not change. That means there is no change in demand. So there is no change in demand in the sense, so 0% change in the demand. And there is an increment in the price of 10%. So we'll get 0. So XCD will get 0. Same thing we can write. So this is the plot x-axis and this is y-axis. So price of A and here quantity of B. So you can see, though the price increased here for one product. So which one? The price of television increased 10%. Initially here, now it is here. So 10% increment is there. Though it is increased, so there is no change in the demand. It is as usual, constant is there. Okay, that's what it told. If the price of one product increase, there will be no effect on the other products. That's what it's called unrelated goods, and that is coming under zero cross elasticity. So these are the three different types of cross elasticity of demand. I hope you understand this lecture. If you're having any doubt and query regarding this, you can give a comment on the comment box. Thank you all.